I'm sorry. I was having technical issues there, Mike. Storm came through and kind of knocked my internet out for a little bit. So,
I see.
yeah, I'm sorry about that. Welcome. Appreciate you. You've been on the road. You've been on the convention road, haven't you?
Well, I was in Indianapolis over the weekend.
Oh, yes. I noticed that. How'd that go for you?
Well, the con was great. I got to see
Yeah.
some old friends.
Right?
Sold a lot of books. I sat next to Pat Broderick. We sold all our bronze stars that we had. Uh, and I saw my pal Harold German, who does the Calico comic.
Oh, yeah. I love that. I love that. That's awesome.
Little grim.
Is it?
Oh, haven't
Okay.
you read it? Haven't you read it?
No, I haven't yet. It's I love the design of the character though. It's really neat. A little grim, got some humor in it though.
Well, the next issue will.
Yeah.
Well, I'm
How
writing it.
we had storm come through here and apparently through a lot of states over the weekend. Good weather while you were gone.
Indianapolis was cold and a little moist, but getting home yesterday took me 12 hours. I was supposed to leave Indianapolis at 9:15 p.m. The plane was a half hour late. Then they get everybody on board, and then there's
Yeah.
silence while we sit fuming. We don't
Right.
know what's going on. They don't tell us. Finally,
Yeah.
the pilot says, "We're sorry, guys, or passengers. We have a technical glitch. The emergency slide is broken," like as if we're going to use the emergency slide. So the
Uh-huh.
mechanic comes. The mechanic took 45 minutes to get there, and he's back and forth and back and forth. Then finally, some guy gets up and goes off. And I said, "Well, what's the delay now?" And the
Yeah.
stewardess says, "Well, now we have to fill out paperwork for the guy who left." And it was just ridiculous. And finally,
Wow.
I got into Denver at midnight, and howling snow, blizzard.
Wow.
Caught the bus at 1, and I didn't get home till about 3 o'clock in the morning.
Wow. Yeah.
But I'm
That's
not doing that many cons this year. I'm doing a lot more than I have in the past.
yeah.
But they're few
Well,
and far.
I know last time we had you on was Orlando. You were down in Orlando, and so I was kind of surprised that you did this one so quickly. I guess there was something really special about it. Oh, I'm sorry, we lost your audio. You're we can't hear you.
I had asked Renee
There we
Witterstatter to hook me up with a con, and she got me Indianapolis. And even though it was really coming up fast, I was grateful to her for getting me the booking. So I decided to come. And besides that, I saw Harold German,
mm-hmm.
uh, who's been extremely supportive. And I met a bunch of great people there, and had a good con, ate like a pig, and now I'm
It
back.
is Harold one of the organizers of the
No,
convention?
he's the guy who created Calico,
Okay. All right. Yeah.
and he's
Uh there's a lot that goes into creating one of those cons, isn't there? I mean, there's a lot to line up for
oh,
those
they had a
cons anymore.
huge selection of B movie stars, none of whom I'd ever heard of. But that's the big attraction these days is people come and pay a fee to be photographed with some guy that was in
Yeah,
a cop
it's
show
not.
or a vampire show.
I I I I really just didn't. It really has become about the new movie or the celebrity, the new Netflix deal. It seems like back in the '80s, it was more comic centric. It was more about the comic creators. That was such a rich time back then, 40 years
Yeah, it
ago.
was. There's good stuff being done today, but most of it is
Hmm.
done outside the traditional avenues. we're just talking about how the big two are circling the drain. I did an article on it for my Substack column, and I think you would all find it of
Oh, did
interest.
you really?
Yeah,
Okay.
guys, I have a Substack column, mikebarron.substack.com.
Mm-hmm.
Please go subscribe. The article I posted today, which was about Richard Bonk, uh, whom I've been working with for over a year now. But it covers a lot of territory about why comics are not doing as well as they should. And it has a lot to do with people don't discuss this, but really the main reason is to switch to digital everything. We have a whole generation of kids here that doesn't read; they play video games.
You're right. Yeah. And just even the way artwork is produced, the last few, even oh gosh, some early 2000 original artwork, it no longer has the dialogue balloons because all that's done in computer. It's changed how we make computer, how we make uh, even our traditional artwork.
Well, I think that some digital art is stunning,
Mm-hmm.
like what Kelsey turned in for the new Nexus book, which we're launching in 2 weeks. It's called Scourge, and it's on Indiegogo now.
Mm-hmm.
And you can go sign up. And if you sign up before the launch, you get a free art card, which will have an original Nexus pinup by Kelsey. I sent you the picture, Rex,
Oh, did you?
on
Okay.
uh,
On Twitter,
on Twitter. Yeah,
on X. Uh-huh.
yeah, it's in your Devil Flyer
Oh
Momentum.
yeah. Yeah. Love this image. Uh, you just have Kelsey come up with something like this, or do you like when it comes to the cover or something? Do you have a concept in mind,
I
Mike?
did not. Kelsey came up with that on his own. Would you show it? Yeah,
Mm-hmm. Yep, there it
thank you.
is. Uh-huh. Yeah, yeah.
It's
I
very
I wonder,
simple.
do you often have some input on the covers?
Well, sometimes I have some ideas,
Yeah.
but it depends. Maybe half the time. And when I'm working with an artist with whom I co-create something, I ask them, "Well, what do you think should be on the cover?"
Mm-hmm.
I suggested to Pat that one of the scenes would be Harley Brogdon in Bronze Star shooting a guy through the head because the guy threw down on him at a poker game, and they're always playing poker and getting into fights and accusing each other of cheating. So Pat did that, and it's a great cover, but it's a little grim.
Yeah.
So he did the other cover, which is just classic Western stuff. Uh,
Pat sent me over, I think it was in Gmail, sent me a picture of his dog.
oh, the 2 pound dog.
Yeah, the little pit 2 pound dog. I was like, thanks.
It is funny.
I guess maybe he saw Abby, you know,
Yeah.
and thought he would reciprocate and send me a picture of his dog. Um, Levi says, Mike, thanks for Florida, man. I did laugh out loud twice.
Thank you, Levi. I would have responded, but for some reason I can't post uh,
Mm.
anything in comments since I hooked this up to my Twitter feed.
Shadowhawk said he's still laughing. He's been sick the last few days. Uh, we've got a lot of people going through a lot of stuff right now, Mike. It's amazing. And then I know the weather hasn't been good for people either. I mean, that it seems like Florida. I was really kind of hot on having a place down Florida. I'm not so sure now because these hurricanes and stuff. Even I've been down there once working because of a hurricane that went through there, and everybody lost everything.
Somebody was telling me just the other day that they had a place in Florida. It was Pat, I think, and they had
Mhm.
like 5 hurricanes in a row come through
Wow,
Tampa. And he says they were out of power for like 6 weeks.
golly, and they're on it down there. It seemed like the governor's on, restoring services. I mean,
Dude, you can't mess with Mother Nature. I mean, nature is
well,
just too
that's true.
powerful.
Yeah, you're old enough to remember that old commercial from the 70s. It's not nice to
It's not
mess with
nice.
Mother Nature.
Hey, I sent you
Yeah.
another Nexus
Okay.
page by Kelsey.
All right.
This is going to be in triplets, which we're going to do later this year. This is not from Scourge. But the first issue was released by Richard Meyer, who commissioned it. But after he fulfilled that, he said, "Mike, I think you ought to take it over from now. You're doing just as well as I am." So we're going to launch this one later this year. But between the two, we're going to offer the first 3 Nexuses that were originally printed in black and white, and Kelsey coloring them, and they look stunning.
Oh wow. Okay. So kind of a redo of the first. Am I getting you right on this? The one that the offered through Splato, done by
No,
Kelsey.
no, this is offered through Splato. This is Kelsey's new work. The 3
Okay.
original black and white issues were published by Capital back in the day, and they feature
Oh,
the dude's artwork.
the graphic novels. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I remember those. Yeah, I had those. Unfortunately, I don't anymore, but been wanting to get back to them. Yeah, I remember those. You had out. I mean, that was in what, 81?
Yes, it was.
Yeah, and I met you.
I was only 5 years old.
Yeah, I mean, you took that and then just off and running. With Nexus, there was Nexus. Uh, I guess by 85 when I met you, you'd already had the graphic novel that was out.
Yeah, we
Maybe.
had a good run.
Yeah, you had a pretty good run on that. I mean, were you trying to do like Lee and Kirby and have it like they did with Fantastic Four, over 100 issues?
Well, that
Uh,
didn't occur to me, but we have done well over 100 issues of Nexus
have you? Yeah,
in all the
yeah,
various publishers. Because uh, after we worked with First and they went under, Dark Horse bought the rights. And the only reason Steve Rude and I control the character now is because Mike Richardson returned the rights to us in an unprecedented act of generosity. I don't think it's ever been done before, and it hasn't been done since.
yeah, yeah. I remember Schuster was supposed to be at that convention in '96, so we missed him because he was sick. He didn't show up. I guess that happens all the time. I've been to several conventions where people don't show up.
Schuster?
Schuster, or wait a minute, I get the Simon and Schuster. The creator
Oh,
of
yeah.
Superman.
That's right. Yeah,
Yeah, he
yeah.
got sick or something, didn't show up. He was supposed to be a special guest. I was like, oh,
Um,
good, we're gonna get to meet the creator of Superman. He was a big name even then. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
fans,
Yeah.
it's like, my God, fine, and they didn't get anything for their work. It's good in latter years that they got a little recognition at the conventions.
Well, thanks to Neil Adams, who shamed
Yeah.
DC into giving them a monthly stipend.
Well, I heard a story of Neil Adams coming in, and a guy was shredding up artwork, original artwork, and he says, "You stop," and he goes off and he gets someone and he comes back, and the guy's still shredding. You know, that's what they did with back then, wasn't it? With the
Yeah, and
production art, with
also
the
somebody would go through the office who had access, and they'd grab a dozen pages and just take them.
yeah, I heard Gil Kane had some better fingers like that. Whether it was his work or not, but I don't
Well,
know.
it
But
stemmed from the publisher and their
yeah,
refusal to recognize that the original art belongs to the artist. Because the
yeah.
publisher was, I'm in charge here. I will dictate everything, and I will throw you crusts from my table.
Yeah, I mean, Neil Adams was a staunch avenger in that, wasn't he? On getting
Yes. Yeah.
people recognized for their artwork, and that came about a lot earlier, though. I think in the '70s, he was fighting for rights
Yes, he
like
was.
that and some recognition for creators. And then, how did that all come about? Do you know? I mean, with the sort of creators deserve a retirement, or if someone can no longer provide for themselves, but they've been in comics that will
Well,
have a fun there
comics were
for them.
always small cheese.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
Superman had huge circulation, 8 million at one point, and the publishers were making a lot of money off of that.
hmm,
But in true cutthroat capitalist fashion, they didn't want to share that with the freelancers.
right,
And one of the problems is that everybody wants to work in comics, And a lot of people are willing to put up with really shabby working conditions in order to get that credit and to be associated with their favorite character. That all began to change in the 70s and 80s. And then when Image formed and they broke away, they showed what you could do. And probably the 80s and 90s were the peak of the modern era, because some of those titles were selling over a million when they introduced a new number one or something. And
Hmm.
God knows a lot of those Image guys have become millionaires since then.
Well, I know DC, like Will Everett, I guess, had a book, Wonder Comics #1. It was a one shot because they said that's too close to Superman. It seemed like National was trying to shut down, characters that had powers, but they were unrelated, like Shazam. Shazam's become a big deal again, and then they own the rights and brought him back in 72, I think, uh, under the name Shazam. But I mean, Captain Marvel was outselling. You mentioned Superman 8 million at one point, but that was during the golden era, right?
Right.
But I know that Dell Comics up until the early 60s with one of their Disney books with Daffy Duck or I mean Donald Duck or something like that was still selling 1.6 million. But
Well, those are the greatest comics ever made. The Carl
yeah,
Barks, Uncle
oh
Scrooge,
yeah,
and Donald Duck. And people
yeah,
say, well, who should I study to learn how to do a comic? Carl Barks is the master.
yeah.
There's not a wasted word or panel in anything he does, and the stories are rich with characterization and humor and superb dynamics.
And did you ever get to meet him, Mike,
No, I
in the early
didn't,
days?
but
Yeah.
when I was 12 years old, I was enamored of these comics, and I kept writing Disney saying, who is this? How can I find it? I said, finally, he said, all right,
Hmm.
write to him. He lives in Oregon. Here's his address. So I wrote to him and I said, Mr. Barks, I'm a huge fan. Could I have a drawing of Uncle Scrooge?
Hey, Caleb.
And a couple of weeks later, let me show you what he sent me.
Oh, that's right. You have shown this before. This is awesome. I have a couple pictures that I'm going to have to show you, Mike. They're of the animator when Bambi was in production,
Yeah.
and been in a private family collection. Um, wow,
Show that, Rex. There it is.
there we go. And that's cool that is personalized to you, and that you still have
I
it.
know. I know. It's amazing that I kept it all these years and I still have it.
Yeah, he probably wrote that in fountain pen, didn't he?
Probably.
Yeah, I mean, fountain pens back in the 60s used to be a thing. So was Uncle Scrooge your favorite?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Until
yeah,
I got to college and somebody showed me Nick Fury Agent of Shield.
yeah.
And I wrote,
Did you
whoa.
like his little his greedy side? Was that it? He was a cat. He had all that
Oh,
money, and
Scrooge.
yeah,
Well, no, I mean, that was just the characterization they gave us. But uh, what I like were the stories, because if you haven't read them, you think, well, he's just a
yeah.
miser. But he's not at all. He's got a great
No,
deal of honor,
uh-huh.
and he's got a soft spot. He's always trying to take advantage of Donald. But Donald is a much more three-dimensional character in the Uncle Scrooge comics than he ever was in the cartoons, where he's just always hopping mad and jumping up and down. But in Uncle Scrooge, he's an entrepreneur. He shows bravery, uh, luck.
Yeah,
I remember one time there's one story that Barks wrote where Donald is trying to get a job as a salesman, and the guy who's training him is this big hairy dog type thing with a big nose. He says, "You lack gumption, Duck. The way you get a man to buy what you're doing is you scream your pitch in his face, and when he faints from exhaustion, you crawl on his chest, you shove a pen in his hand, and you scrawl his name on the contract."
Anthony Gonzalez Clark, an artist that works with art. Chuck Dixon, your friend, says, "Yeah, you don't fuck with Donald in the comics. He's already ready to throw it down." Yeah, it's like somebody stepped on his show already. That's kind of a thing. I like that. The artists that that did Devil Flyer back in the 60s. He wrote in as a child a couple letters and got them published. One with his name on there, one without his name on there, but he knew it was his letter, because he had written the letter. Did you ever get anything like that published in
Oh yeah,
the?
there's some letters of mine in
Are
in
there?
Marvel Comics. People show
Okay.
them to me
Yeah.
from time to time.
Yeah, I always tried to get one in, but I didn't write. I probably didn't like you did with Barks. Just let's keep writing. It's like one and done. I remember I tried to get one of those no prizes too.
I got a no prize.
Did you really?
Yeah, hang on. I'll show it to you.
Like Barrett has a no prize. That's when you found a mistake, wasn't it?
I don't remember what it
To
was.
get
I think
one? Yeah. That's what I was
uh,
doing. I was barraging them for a while, and my mother looked at me. It was in the early 80s, and she said, I think it was in the early 80s or maybe 79. I know She-Hulk was out because I was saying, well, this had a coloring mistake or something.
okay,
And I
there
was
it is.
pointing
There's
out
me with my no prize.
Oh, there you go. That's great that you still got all that stuff. Look at that. Now, I saw you doing an interview recently over on your channel. I was streaming, but I came in and said hi. Are you featuring creators now over on your channel?
You mean the Bear and Earls show?
Yes. Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah, every week we try to do. We slow
Okay.
down a little because we both have other commitments. But
Okay.
last week we did Denise Storman.
Well, it kind of
Who's
threw me because I saw him over shilling something on another channel right after that, maybe the next day.
who Jeff Earls?
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah, he may have been. I'm just
Uh-huh.
very active.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, he put this show together,
Mm-hmm.
and I find a little bit more of our subjects than he does, but he's had some very interesting subjects too.
Yeah, well, you get better, buddy. You get better. That's fine. Yeah, he's been under the weather. He's actually had me a little bit concerned. He was talking about going to the hospital a couple
I'll
days ago.
get better, Shadowhawk.
That's right. Absolutely. We need supporters and readers like you. There's not enough of us out there. Mike, have you promoted Rex's campaign? Gary says.
What Rex? I should, and if you would like to, I would be happy to at least repost your campaign on my page.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I can send you the link in the private chat. How's that? Would that be good? Or do you
Sure.
want it on X? Okay.
Oh, I don't care. If you put it on X and you tag me, I'll repost it.
Okay.
What's your
All right.
book?
I'll try to. Devil Flyer, a Devil's Weapon, 48 pages, magazine size, so that it lays flat. It's going to be saddle stitched. It's going to have more. It's written like an anthology, but it's all kind of linked up, and then it's going to be rolled into one. Meet a friend of mine of come May will be 40 years. Hopefully his audio's good, Mike. Mr. Walter Danley. We just call him Elsie.
Hi, LZ.
Hey, Mike. How's it going, bud?
Good.
Yeah,
He's in Jackson, Tennessee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're in Arkansas, aren't you, Rex?
I am. Northeast Arkansas, about 3 hours drive away from Elsie. Yeah. Have to go through Memphis to get to him.
Yeah. It's a good place.
And Mike's in Colorado. He just got back from a convention, Elsie.
He did. Cool,
Yeah,
man.
at 3:00 this morning.
Wow.
There you go. I just sent it over there to your ex. Is that good enough? The campaign link. I appreciate that, Mike.
You're welcome.
Yeah, we've been over on Fund My Comic. We're down to the last 8 days, I guess. So almost a week left on the campaign, and then it'll go in demand over there at Fund My Comic. Can't wait to try and get you and Pat together for Bronze Star 2. This book is going to feature my first Western character ever, called Midnight. she's only going to get a cameo here, but in this story, but you'll be seeing some more of her. I'm excited to write something different, you know, keep it in the superhero vein, but there's no reason why you shouldn't be able to write any genre into comics, right? Even in that's why I kind of like the big two growing up, Mike. You had this vast universe of characters from Howard the Duck, which I hated, and the toy stuff, which I hated, you know. But
what do you mean, like G.I. Joe and Micronauts?
Well, more like ROM or Micronauts, yeah. I mean, but they would always get me, or Godzilla. Oh, look, the Avengers are in Godzilla. I love the Avengers. I had to pick it up. It didn't make me a reader of Godzilla, but you know, they would try and tie it in some way. How do you tie in Doctor Who with Spider-Man? I thought, those special issues, I'm sure are fun, and I try and go back and collect. They even had Saturday Night Live. Remember that in the Marvel team up? It was like, you know, with John Belushi and his samurai sword.
Yeah.
But that stuff broke. It was like breaking the fourth wall with me, Mike. I never got into it, even though it was awesome stuff. Like Micronauts with Michael Golden artwork starting out. Oh, it's just awesome. But it just and eventually it would hook me for an issue or something. Usually
they weren't consistent. It's hard to be consistently good on a monthly comic.
Mm-hmm. That was why I never bought. Now Elsie's different. His taste run different. See, mine was sort of the superhero genre. He read war. What'd you read? You read war. You read like Donald Duck, Archie, stuff like that.
As a kid, I'd read whatever I got my hands on.
Yeah.
You know, I loved comics when I was growing up, man. And then, you know, you drift on, and then all of a sudden it comes back to your memory. Oh yeah.
Mike, Elsie worked at the hospital when they brought Elvis in.
Yeah.
After he's already gone, you know, passed away. They found him, but they brought him in. And you said they worked on Elvis how long?
About half an hour. And my buddy said he was stiff. He was stiff the whole time.
Yeah.
You should have grabbed a lock of his hair.
You should have grabbed a lock of his hair.
Yeah. You couldn't get near him. He had about 30 doctors. You couldn't get near him. My buddy was working on him. He said he looked up the doctor, said, "This guy's got rigor mortis. What am I doing?" He goes, "Keep working, keep working."
That's messed up. I mean, he was on drugs. That's happened to so many celebrities. They find out they don't think they can function without uppers and downers. Like Michael Jackson.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, more recently, Prince, right? He went in an elevator and had an event or something. Yeah.
Amy Winehouse.
Yeah. What I remember with Elvis, they were saying it was like Dr. Nick. You went to Dr. Nick if you wanted to be prescribed something, you know. I just listened to an audio book that I've listened to maybe once before, and it's called Dr. Feelgood. Have you ever listened to that, Mike?
No.
Which is all about the crack doctor, the amphetamine doctor that serviced people like JFK and Marilyn Monroe.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's always one of those guys in the wings.
Yeah.
You know, and Michael Jackson, he needed uppers to get going in the morning and then downers to sleep at night.
Well, you've probably seen some of these documentaries on. I remember one back in the day. I have it recorded here, called High Hitler. That was on History Channel, but it talked about the doctor, the quack doctor that Hitler had. And I recently on Twitter saw him just rocking back and forth, you know, at the Olympics, at the 36 Olympics. He was amped up. I know he was excited, but you just, you know, he was very and they did the same thing on like the Star of Wizard of Oz too, right? You mean
Judy Garland?
Judy Garland, very early on, they would give her.
She was very unhappy. In fact, there's a movie about it that's very difficult to watch.
Hmm.
I can't think of the name, but it shows what went on behind the scenes, and the director was just a complete bully.
A lot of bad stuff, man. A lot of bad stuff.
Yeah, a lot of behind the scenes Hollywood type stuff. That's, I mean, I know it's still going on today, a bunch of it, but
It'd be child abuse, man. It had
yeah,
them people locked up.
yeah.
I'm telling you.
They would give her downers to sleep, and then they'd give her uppers
Yeah.
to get her
Yep.
up, you know,
Yep.
and going. It
Shit.
was screwed up.
Yeah.
Forget all that. It's how they treated her, man. That
Mhm.
enough of that to go to jail right there. Forget the pills, the way they treated her as a woman, man.
Well, I can't remember the actor's name. He passed away a few years ago. He was the actor that was in Hunger Games. That was, everybody knew he was on heroin, and he wound
the
up
guy that
ODing.
played the Joker.
No, that was Heath Ledger.
Yeah,
but he committed suicide.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. And that was before the movie release. So when the movie released, it was like, bam, you know, Heath Ledger back there behind Elsie there, big standee there.
Standee, man, a full-size standee of Heath Ledger as a Joker. And
if you move your head, Elsie, I you know, unless you want to get up and get it to show Mike. I don't know, Mike, if you've seen the oil painting done by Jack Kirby that he did after he went out there to California. Obviously,
no. Let me see.
Yeah, just give him a second to get it. He's got a Jack Kirby oil painting of maybe his backyard, maybe just a scenic place they went as a family. We know this place where it was framed at was a certain gallery back in 1972. It's dated. That would have been about the time that he went out from New York to the West Coast. I asked Glenn Fleming when he visited him back in the 70s if he had seen anything like this hanging up on the walls. There you go. That's Jack Kirby.
Wow.
Isn't that wild?
Yeah, it is.
I mean, that's not the Hulk. That's not Captain America. No. That's real art done by Jack Kirby.
Get the signature in there.
Yep, see the signature. We see it. Signed and dated Jack Kirby. Isn't that
Beautiful.
wild?
Yeah.
Beautiful, man. I'll show you that Heath Ledger too, Mike.
Okay.
That creates a whole new layer of the person for me, you know, that he had that side that would see.
We're still waiting for a definitive biography of Kirby. Mark Evanier says he's been working on one for years, and I wish he'd publish it already. Is this a painting?
No, this is a full-size standee I got at Blockbuster way back. Now this is
nice.
Life size, yeah, it's life size to Heath Ledger. Wow, yeah. Still unopened, yeah.
Thing on eBay that people are trying to get about $1,200 for these things, $1,500 and stuff.
Really? And they'll probably get it. He's quite popular. Did you like his depiction of the Joker, Mike?
I've only seen that film once. I think I have it here. The friend gave me the DVD, and it's due for another look.
It's definitely due for another look. It's a pretty awesome movie, man.
Yeah,
especially as him as a Joker. He's good. He's the only one I like better is Jack Nicholson.
Are you going to tell Mike about your chin hair, Elsie?
Yeah.
And why you don't cut that off?
Yeah, tell us, Elsie.
Why not? Why would you not?
You know, Bobby Naklicki has the same thing. Bobby's head of Redneck Nation and Redneck Nation Music. And if you've seen that little sticker of Joe Biden pointing to the gas gauge on the pump, saying, "I did that." That's one of Bobby's products, but he makes a lot of things. He makes clothes. He makes spittoons, which he calls mud jugs, that are very beautiful, believe it or not.
Elsie won't tell you, but he started growing that out and braiding it, whatever. He's always had the waxed mustache since I've known him for 40 years. I've known Elsie. And
Didn't you?
but he started growing this out after his father passed away. It's been about 2 years now, hasn't it, Elsie, since your father passed away?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
He found these old sermon notes because his father was a teacher, very rich history and education. His own parents dropped him off at the university here in town when he was a kid.
When he was like 5 years old, right?
And Elsie had this teacher in college that he would write the paper and give him an F. He said, "Dad, he's got something after me," and so his dad even wrote this paper and submitted it and got an F. Elsie, do you want to talk about that a little bit? And then so his dad said, you're not going to get past this guy. So he sent him to the university here. And then that's when he and I met, like 40 years ago.
Yeah, but no, I'm not going to talk about that, man.
You're not going to talk about that? Okay. He's playing hard to get. That's probably just best. We'd be here forever, Mike, if you did. But yeah, come this May, Elsie. I don't know if you know it, because I started
painting we found when we were at ASU together. He would totally.
Oh yeah, in the art annex, hanging up there. Nobody had noticed it, not even Elsie.
Yes,
nobody had noticed.
It was a show.
It was old Mr. Water Lilies, right?
Yeah, like that.
Well, okay, what is his name? It's. I've got several names running through my head now.
Brother, it was a small Monet.
Yeah, Monet. That's right. But it was not that small. No, it was a small, but it was larger than what you're saying like that. I remember it quite. I said, "Wow, this is millions of dollars hanging on the student wall here," and I told Elsie about it. I said, they ought to put this in a more secure place. I've been tempted to take off with the thing. It's worth millions. You
know what I saw at Denver International Airport last night? I looked up and there was a gargoyle on a column in the baggage claim. You just like they have on the Notre Dame.
That's wild.
Except it was rising out of a suitcase, This gargoyle
was it?
It's rising out of a suitcase.
Really?
So it's a new piece of art.
Bernie Wrightson, he do it.
Took me by surprise. I liked it. You should put up more gargoyles in public places.
Yeah. I remember when I went to a kid when I went to a place that's still down here. In fact, I lived in the building. Elsie knows this. I lived in the building for 8 years. We did church signs and different things down in that space. You remember, Elsie, it had the old tin, and it had the little ladies in the corner with the little filigree around their faces. And one of them had like 3 bullet holes in the face, Mike. But when I was a young kid, about 3-4 years old, my dad would take me there to get a haircut. It was a barber shop. It had a barbershop pole out that place forever. And but you go into these elaborate old buildings, and they had the tin on the ceilings. I guess you've probably seen places like that, right?
Well, that was pretty unique. And
yeah.
It was old.
I see some places on Twitter, Mike. There's one that I subscribe to, and he shows you what architecture used to be, architecture, and what it is today. And he's railing against it because, he says we're losing the beauty out of our world. I think we kind of are.
Right. He's absolutely right. I mean, most of this new, especially government buildings. Government buildings seem to be designed to be deliberately ugly and dehumanizing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Geometric, plain.
Yeah.
Cold stone.
Sterile. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there are exceptions, like the Marin County Courthouse was designed by Frank Lloyd Wright.
Oh,
That's
And it's got
different.
a beautiful building.
there's a Frank Lloyd Wright house not too far from me, about 5 minutes from me,
Really?
Mike, right down
I'd
here.
love to see a picture of it.
Okay, I'll
Oh,
take a
sweet,
picture and
yeah.
send it to you with my
That would be
camera or
great.
something. I'll
Like,
arrange that. Yeah, it's
Of course, coming from Wisconsin, I was able to see an awful lot of Frank Lloyd Wright houses. And here's one of my favorite. I'm going to just send it to you right
okay.
now. This
All
is on. This is in University Heights in Madison, and I've gone
Oh,
up there
wow.
to look at it many times. You can't go in.
Whoops. Okay.
It's a private home, but it's
Right.
inspiring even just to look at it.
Yeah, the occupants in the house here in town, it doesn't seem like when they go to their living room they have any privacy whatsoever, because you can look right in there. They did, that it's built with these big, glass sections.
Well, there was another Frank Lloyd Wright house on the far west side of Madison, and when I first started going by it,
Mhm.
it was a fairly rural area. But eventually the city caught up with it, and now it's built up all around. It still has privacy because of the way Wright designed it and the landscaping. But there are other houses crowding in. But there are a lot of Frank Lloyd Wright buildings in Madison. I've been lucky to
cool.
see a lot of them and get in a couple.
I have to ask you, Elsie, we had some bad storms, weather come through here. Nothing's hit over there in Jackson like that, is there?
It's coming our way, they say.
Yeah.
We've already had our whole, that awning that hangs over our big window down there where we watch TV.
Oh, yeah, it's
The
been
big-
windy today.
Oh, it's gone. It was laid out
Really?
in the yard. Yeah. It
Is
totally
it still
ripped
in the
off
yard?
Yeah, I took
I can
it up
believe
close
it. The
to
wind's been terrible today.
I took it. It missed the air conditioning and it landed, and I took it over against the house.
Okay. Yeah, I'd weight that thing down. I would weight that thing down. You get a good gust over that, it'll be in your neighbor's yard.
No.
Yeah.
Let's hope the other one stays there over the kitchen.
Well, you're blessed to have. I wish you could show Mike Honey or a picture of Honey, your dog. Mike's got like 3 dogs. 3? Okay. I wanted to add a 4th there in my mind. 3 dogs.
Bob's a pirate.
Yeah.
And
My dog is a pirate. I'll show you.
A pirate.
Yes, he's a pirate. It's terrifying. Terrifying pirate dog.
How do you take a pirate dog for a walk any way he wants?
Yeah.
You didn't get him an eye patch, did you?
Take a look.
Oh my.
Hey.
He's so cute, man. I love him. He's so cute.
Yeah, Bob's quite a character.
Yeah. He's
Animals
like,
are
what have
awesome.
you done to me? He looks very psychotic there.
Yeah,
He's
I'm
like,
showing him Bob.
I will
Those
kill
real
you.
indignant. Real indignant.
I kill you.
All right.
Why me?
Well, come here and see.
Oh no, I don't know.
All right. My wife is coaching me from
Oh,
behind.
come on.
behind.
I've
That's
seen you
cool.
before lurking in the background, working on your crafts. You can come say hi.
So let me show you Mac. We call her the lip.
Oh, does
And
she
you'll
give
see
you lip?
why.
Is
She
that it?
does. She
Yeah.
does, but she also personifies.
Somebody needs, don't they? Oh,
There she is.
No. Oh gosh.
The lip.
Oh, they add a lot of character to your life, don't they?
Yeah.
oh, my God.
Oh, and Bob's a killer. One more, if you'll bear with
Okay,
me.
who's in the background on this one? Is
Freddie.
there somebody? Huh?
Freddie.
Freddie. Okay, he's out like a light too. I have a picture here of my zombie dog sleeping when she was younger, right there by you, Mike. On that little, her eyes roll up and little whites of her eyes. the zombie dog. Oh, but only when she was younger. She doesn't do that anymore. Oh,
Right. Take a look
wow.
at this last photo here.
He got the
Not for the
squirrel,
faint of
didn't he?
heart. Not for the
Yeah.
faint of heart.
Uh-huh. Squirrel girl no more. Oh, he's so lean. He looks so young there.
He's actually about 8 years old, but he's still very fast. I mean,
Yeah,
he's
I
fast
bet he
enough to
is.
catch these squirrels in a fenced-in yard.
He looks like
He's
he
got
might be
like-
a digger. Is he a digger?
No.
No.
Well, you know, I should say that because they keep getting into this area beneath the porch and digging next to the foundation, which really pisses me off. I think I got it fenced off sufficiently now, but Bob does dig. He did dig.
Uh-huh. Well, Elsie was a boxer guy. He had boxers, rescue boxers, and after the last one passed away, I took probably some of the last photos of his other dog. If I had time, I'd bring them up, but I'd have to find them in the file. But he went the next day and got. It didn't take him but like one day to go to a rescue, and he's got like what's
Good
her
for
breed?
you, Elsie.
What's her breed, Elsie?
She's like some kind of a
Terrier,
oh man,
lab
if I could get
mix.
the word,
Yeah.
but she's a rescue. It don't matter. I got her at a pit rescue. She's a small 50-pound dog. She looks like a small greyhound, but a little meat on her. Okay, tan. Man, she's a good dog, but she's very weird. Okay, I give them unconditional love. I said, man, whatever baggage you got, I hope that all this love will make you get rid of it, because you don't need it.
Now
You're
she licks
safe.
everything, right? She licks worms and eats them. She's a
Well,
digger.
You're saying that she's on a diet of worms?
No, she gets a lot of things, but she chooses. That's what her. She could have very well survived that way. I don't know.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Since she was a rescue
digs
dog,
up
maybe
grubs.
that's how she
She'll dig
survived,
up
was
a
eating
mole.
worms, maybe.
dig up moles. We got moles out in the backyard. She'll dig them up and we'll toss them around.
We
I'll
got
get on and toss them
woodpeckers.
over the fence.
Oh, I do too,
doesn't
Mike.
kill 'em.
They
She
wake me
doesn't
up in the
kill 'em.
morning.
Yeah.
I hate them.
We got the black with the little white dots on it here, but I've seen the little red hooded woodpeckers.
These are little blue and purple woodpeckers. They're very beautiful, but they're very irritating.
Oh wow!
We've been fighting them for a couple of weeks, and I got a big owl, a fiberglass owl, and put it in the tree, and it scared them away for a day. But now they're back, so we're gonna try some different stuff. I mean, it's just infuriating. I tried to get them with my BB gun, but I kept missing, and then the BB gun died.
I remember we had this giant rubber snake we used to put out in the garden
Ooh.
to scare things away.
That's a good idea.
Yeah,
Or a little
get you a
branch,
big rubber snake.
on a branch or something. It'd really be cool.
Uh-huh.
I mean,
Rubber
it's a-
snake.
And it might even blow in the wind, and move and keep it away.
Around here, boys.
It's probably too cold there for hummingbirds, isn't it, Mike?
Oh no. No,
Really?
they come out.
Are they
They
there?
come out in
We get a
warm
bunch
weather.
Okay.
Have a
All
bunch
right.
here.
Yeah.
Those are awesome, man.
Well, yeah, I mean, his dog will lick shoes, all kinds of weird stuff.
Well, she's just like a cat almost. She clean when she starts cleaning. It don't matter what's in her way. She'll clean it too. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
But she'll lick herself to death.
Well, I know I had a poodle too. Did the same thing as he licked the paws raw down to
Yeah.
the skin.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
bad. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Mac is a licker, but she prefers to lick others.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you got to meet some old friends at the convention. That's cool. Mike is straight back from which convention, Mike?
Indianapolis. Jim
Okay.
Starlin was there. I hadn't seen him in a long time.
Oh wow, yeah. Now he's kind of been dealing with some health issues over the past few years.
I didn't know that because he looked pretty good to me.
Yeah, he had kind of slowed down for a little while, and that was before though he kind of got the unsumerial boot from Marvel. Um,
Oh, I
but
didn't know about that.
yeah, he was dealing with some from some issues there. When it come to drawing. That's why he kind of went to more writing than drawing, because
Hmm.
he's dexterous like that. You know, he does both. But yeah, he had done some health things like the inker that used to be on the Swamp Thing. He's got an eye problem and hasn't been. He's had to slow down and done. You know, had degenerative eye problem and had to.
I'm sorry to hear that. I
Yeah.
have an original page from Master of Kung Fu that he did.
Wow.
Yeah, well, Elsie, earlier we were talking about destruction. I and Elsie are working on a book together with Glenn Fleming. We've collected a lot of the Jack Adler collection, which is probably the most prominent collection of DC covers, because he was the guy that worked for DC production. It's said that he was working for the printing firm that did Action Comics #1 at the time, and that he did a little of the printing for Action Comics #1. But he officially started with DC National in 1952. He saved a lot of the stuff that we were talking about, and was even asked to be, from what I understand, a partner in the Joe Kubert school with Joe, and for some reason that never jailed, or that didn't seem
He
to,
didn't want to move.
you
He
know.
didn't want to move. is
I
what
met
Rob
Joe a
said.
couple of times, and Joe had forearms like Popeye and a grip like a stevedore. I mean, he had very powerful arms.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, here's Mac. Mac, come here a minute. No, she's gone. The lip.
Camera shot.
Mac, smack.
Smack Mike.
Oh, she's
She's
deaf.
better
I
than-
forgot. She's deaf as a doorknob. Oh, wait, here's Fred. All right. You guys ready for your close up? That's Freddie.
Oh.
Baby.
That looks a little
baby.
like Honey.
Yeah.
Same
he
color.
was-
He's a
Oh,
good boy. And there's
Yeah.
Bob.
Hey, Bob. I
Bob
see
makes a
popping.
cameo.
Yeah,
Bob.
cameo.
Bob.
Ready for your close up, Mr. DeVille?
Pretty baby.
Yeah,
Freddie wants to get in on the action here.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, she looks a lot like Honey.
A lot
Listen,
like
you know.
Honey. Yeah. So Honey's is Elsie's dog, Honey. Same color, same rich yellow color.
Like, that
Blonde
looks
color.
just like her. I swear it does, brother. Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a trip, man.
Now, when you go to a place like that, I assume you've been to Indianapolis in that region before. Do you have favorite haunts, favorite restaurants and things?
Well,
that you kind of seek out?
this time we went out to a couple of classic joints because two guys I met there, two brothers, had lived in their whole lives, except that when they went overseas, one was a police officer, the other was in the military.
Mhm.
But they took us to a couple of great restaurants. One was a little Italian dive that you would never know was there, but I mean it was straight out of Brooklyn. It had the glass cube wall, and the food was great, just terrific. And then
Now I've got to ask this: while you were gone conventioning, I was on with Randy Zimmerman, which you might know, Russ Leach, and Glenn Fleming, and we were sort of reviewing some of Frazetta's work. Did you ever meet Frank Frazetta?
no, I never did.
Okay. Yeah.
I would like to.
Well, look, man, when you walk in the land of the giants, Mike, you've really got to meet some iconic people in the comics.
The greatest man I ever met was Duke Ellington.
Oh wow, yeah. Love is. I know you're a jazz lover, aren't you? Yeah. Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah, Duke was I loved him as a kid. Loved him as a kid. We would get these Christmas albums, Mike, you know, with all the singers, Ella Gerald, and
Oh, I love her.
you know, all the, you know, Bing Crosby. It would be a mix, you know, Dean Martin.
I like Dean. I like Dean.
The crooners. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Frank Sinatra, of course. All the crooners. But you'd have like Ella Fitzgerald. Loved her.
She was, I don't know, maybe the greatest female singer in jazz, although Sarah Vaughan gives her a lot of competition. Betty Carter was very good. But I think it's up between Ella and Sarah.
If you haven't hit that like button, why haven't you? Only a dozen people, and that's a lot for me. I don't know. When it comes to this channel, they don't want to hit the like button, Mike. But we're growing as a channel, 390 subscribers. Mike, we're coming up on our 700th Thursday. I will send you an invite.
All right.
With it'll be 4 Central as usual. We're celebrating our 700th. You're absolutely invited to come.
Congratulations.
Yeah, last time we had on like Preston Acevedo, we had Doc on, we had Gary Martin, whom you know, I assume.
I know Gary. Gary sent me his new book. I'm excited.
And Russ Leach, and we had an all-star cast. So every anniversary, every 100. We try and get an all-star cast in here. So if you can come back Thursday, that'd be awesome. If you can't make it, don't worry about it. I just
reminds me that I was sitting next to Pat Broderick throughout the weekend, and he had a big portfolio of his own art, which he was selling, but he also pulled out a page by Russ Heath. And he said, "Do you know where I got this?" I said, "No." He said,
"Yeah.
I was at the copy store and the man said, 'You left one of your pages here.'" And he gave him this original Russ Heath. Which goes to show what people who are not comic aficionados think about the art.
Yeah. Russ Heath, Nick Carty, they were in the running for probably a lot of covers.
I
Gil
was lucky
Kane.
to work with Russ on a couple of issues of Punisher. Hey guys, I gotta go. I've been up for 20 hours. And
I know
thank
you're
you for
exhausted.
having me on, and we'll do this again.
All right, sir. Thank you. And sorry about the technical
Not your
delay
fault.
earlier. I'm really sorry about that.
Right.
You take care. Well, there you go. You got to meet the great Mike Baron once again there, Mike. Elsie. Great stories from Mike. Absolutely. Sorry for the delay, folks. You can't control the weather. Like Mike said, it's not good to I think we got some more bad weather coming in here. I'm gonna get off of here and talk with Elsie a little bit behind the scenes. And I will drop you a link, Shadowhawk, if you want to come in and talk behind the scenes with us. I've got a few things
to. Hope you're feeling better, Shadow.
Absolutely, yeah. And his job's exhausting anyway. And I had to let Abby out. We had to take care of our dogs, right? Just ask Mike. Mike is awesome, Fizz Pop says, and it's good to see you, Fizz Pop. We've had NPC in here, Timothy Olsen, Fizz Pop, Jackknife, Carrie's been in here, Richie Droop had been in here. Wow, haven't seen you in a while. That's good. I have to say this before I get off here. Travis has been in here. So many great people. I don't want to take all the time just naming all, but if you don't know, Mike Baron didn't know, on the campaign now for the next 8 days, or we may be down to 7 days now. I think we're still let me take a quick look. Okay, 9 days it says there, and I probably haven't updated. So we're getting ready to, if we haven't already, to go into the last 8 days of the campaign. You can get well, let me get Mike's dog off of here with the squirrel. Love the pirate.
Who created Squirrel Girl?
That was Steve Ditko.
Okay, I got some Squirrel Girls. I'll pull them out when I see them. Okay?
Almost. Okay.
I mean,
all right. You're scaring me now. All right, just let me finish the show here. Here we go. Okay. We did get another backer supporting us with $15. We're at $2,923. Big shout out to you, big supporter of here. He will be getting this artwork here. Oh, there we go. He will be getting this exclusive bystander trading card with the shattered glass look. Absolutely. If you want that, if you've already backed the campaign, you can donate $1 to the campaign. Keep us trending #1 for the rest of the campaign up on Fund My Comic to be #1 over on Fund My Comic. Donate $1. You can get an exclusive John Dillard bystander trading card if you've already backed it. If you have not backed it, you can back for like $10 and buy a sketch card done by me and receive one. So $10 or more donation, or just $1 if you've already backed and you want this great exclusive promo card #3, because we did 2 promo cards. This is the first promo card done in color, though. Stunning piece by John Dillard. Can't say enough about it. This will be in the magazine in some panel or page, something. So you'll get it twice. You'll have a trading card of what's in the book. So how cool is that? That could very well be a cover by itself, Elsie. It's so great. Yeah. Who knows what it'll be made into? Maybe a T-shirt over on my Shopify store, or a jigsaw puzzle. You know, if you want it, we'll make it. Anyway, we're going to get out of here. Shadowhawk, I'll send you the link here in just a minute if you want to come in and buzz with us behind the scenes. Sorry to cut this one short, folks. The bad weather is still coming through here. Afraid my internet might get knocked out, and I do want to confer with these guys a little bit. So what do we say, Elsie?
Keep collecting.
Keep collecting.